United Nations Zoom tonight. This is our last Zoom of 2020. Can you believe it? We have made it, or almost. We have one more day to close out the year. And I'm just super stoked to be your host for the month of December, and excited to jump into January when it rolls around. But I am excited about our trainer tonight. I gotta tell you guys, Kim Ford is our trainer tonight. She's a new national vice president in 2020. And I will tell you that I first met Kim at a party. And I will never forget meeting her. And I was a regional vice president at the time. And she walked right up to me. And the question, she was a nurse, she was in her scrubs at this party, and she just walked straight up to me and asked me how much money I made. And she wanted to know if it was legit what I was doing. And I told her, and then the next thing out of her mouth was, I can do this and I need to do this. And I remember us sitting down and talking, and she was working several jobs as a nurse, and she was pregnant. And I remember thinking, okay, yeah, we can make this happen. And she made it happen on her own. And she's one of the hardest working people I've ever met, one of the most dedicated people I've ever met, and loyal. And so I'm really excited. For those of you who have not yet had the chance to hear Kim share, I'm super excited to share her with you. She is a direct MVP to me, and so I have the pleasure of having that relationship as well with her. So Kim, I'm going to turn it over to you, and can't wait to hear what you share.
Yay, thank you so much. I'm so excited to share with you guys. So my name's Kim Ford, and I'm a new national vice president with Arbonne. I promoted to nation this summer. Went into qualification on my 15-year Arbonne anniversary. So if that doesn't give you something to look forward to on your journey, there's never a timeline for when you're going to go nation. We never know exactly when that's going to happen, but I will tell you, one of the things that I've learned a ton about in this business is perseverance and grit and getting back up again when you fall down. And so I'm super excited to share with you guys today. And honestly, I feel like this is the perfect time for me to train, because I'm one of those girls that between Christmas and New Year's, I do a ton of reflection, and I always have goals set for myself, and I'm very organized when it comes to like looking back. And so I feel like this is the perfect time for me to train. So the first thing I want to say to you guys is, what does 2020 mean to you? When you hear the word or the year 2020, what do you think? Do you think, oh my gosh, get me out of here as fast as possible and move me on to 2021? Do you think, oh my gosh, I learned so much this year. I have so many ways that I've pivoted and learned how to grow my business and make it better and stronger. I've come out ahead. Do you think, do you look back and see success? Or do you look back and see you waiting, hoping that something's gonna pass, or COVID's gonna go by, and I'm just gonna wait this out, and I'm just gonna wait until this, and I'm just gonna wait until that? Because I feel like a lot of times people in this year have felt that way. Like, well, in March, let me just wait till June. Uh-oh, it's still not gone. Now let's wait till July. Oh, let's just wait till 2021. What I wanna do with you guys today is teach you that 2020 is valuable. We still have one full day left in this month. We have double points for AIT. If you've not registered, you definitely need to, so that you can double your volume towards your sales, towards the trip. And then I want to talk to you guys about 2021. So whether this year was a good year or a bad year, or a year you could have never imagined, I know it's been all of those things for so many people. I want you guys to know, here's the deal. Whatever this year has been, nothing is going to change magically just because 2021 starts. The only thing that's going to change is if you change. And whatever has happened in your life or your business in 2020, really, you guys, it's not what happens to us or around us or in this world that matters. What matters is what you do with it and what your response to it is, right? So what has been your response? Have you pivoted? Have you made changes in your business and in your life to help you to move forward rather than stay and wait or move backwards? So one of the things that I saw on Instagram many, many months ago, probably in March or April when this whole pandemic started, I saw Ashley Strong post something and it stuck with me. And I don't know if you guys saw her post this, but She said, if you don't come out of this pandemic with a new skill or a growth in some area in your life, time was never the issue. You were the issue. And I thought, ooh, that is really right here, hit me in the heart, because so many of us switched our lives around, and yes, now we're homeschool moms, or we're, taking our job at home, or maybe we aren't working anymore, or maybe we're working more like I am because I'm a nurse. But what is it that we are doing during this pandemic, and have we come out of it with a new skill? Because we all have had a lot more time now this year than we ever have before. And we have to ask ourselves if we were disciplined enough to make that happen, right? So number one, the time between Christmas and New Year's, I love to get my calendar out, and I love to reflect. Now, I tried really hard to get on the bandwagon of the electronic calendar, and I could not do it. This right here is like my life. And I love to be able to open it up and see what I'm doing, who I'm working with, when I have events, when I have stuff with my kids, all those things. And so when I open my calendar, I can very easily see what's happened. And with an electronic calendar, it's kind of hard for me to look back and see all those things. So number one is, if you don't have a paper calendar, I would highly suggest you start that trend for 2021. It's just my thing that I love to do. And then the next thing that I always do at the end of every year before the first of the year is I usually take a few hours and I reflect. So I go from January to December in this baby, and I pull it open and I start looking back to see what I really did in my life. Where did we go on vacation? How present was I with my kids? How much did I or did I not work? How many events did I have? How many people did I launch in my business? All those things. Because you can't move forward in your business unless you know where you've been. And you don't know where you've been unless you take the time to really look back and see what you did. And what I find when I go back through my January through December is I say, oh my gosh, I launched that gal in February and I haven't talked to her in a few months. She never really got started. I should circle back around with her. Or, oh my gosh, that was an amazing host. She hosted for me a few times. I forgot about her. Oh my gosh, I really need to circle back around. So it shows you where you got leverage and where you fell short and how you need to follow up with those people again. So the first thing that I want to say to you guys is, if you look back at your calendar, here's some things that you want to ask yourself. How many people did you launch? And write these down, because I want you guys to really do this. How many people did you launch last year? Personally, how many people did you launch direct to you? Number two, how many presentations did you do? Whether they be Facebook, Zoom, in person, it doesn't matter. How many group presentations did you do, or one-on-ones, over the year? Right? How many new preferred clients? If you're not somebody who writes everything in your calendar, and that's a thing you're going to change this year, and you know that from going forward now, you're going to start to do that, but you can't look back, here's something you can track. Go through your volume in your web stats or your group volume and see how many people you personally sponsored in the year of 2020 direct to you. How many preferred clients did you sponsor in 2020? That's another thing you can ask yourself. How many times did you bonus in your district, or get your consultant bonus or your area bonus or whatever level you are, your region bonus? Write those things down, because those are easy to track if you didn't have a calendar of things written out. And then the last thing I want you to look at is how many district managers you promoted direct to you in 2020. That's the reflection that you're going to have for yourself and your business. Now, some of you are going to be really upset with yourselves. Some of you are going to be really disappointed in what you didn't do in 2020, and you're going to feel defeated. And here's what I want you to do. Release it. Let it go. It's no big deal. From today forward is what you can control, and you need to set a goal for yourself of what it is that you want to accomplish. So here's the deal, you guys. We have a trip that we have just launched December 1st in the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas. It is one of my all-time favorite Arbonne locations. I love the water slides. I love the location. I love the Dolphin Cove. I love the people there. I love the food. I love the yacht club on the whatever it's called. It's beautiful, you guys. It's breathtaking, this place. And I want you to imagine yourself there with your family, with your friends, with all these people, and you don't have to worry about paying that hotel bill because Arbonne's going to pay for it, right? So what is it that you want for your family? Maybe you want that trip. Do you have your sticky notes on the wall? Do you have that goal sheet printed out so you can highlight in the numbers when you keep going? Are you doing things to make sure that you're staying on track, right? What would that mean to you, your kids, your family, your memories of your life, being able to go on that vacation, right? That's what's going to fuel you to do things when you don't want to do them, to pick up the phone, to drop off some products, to meet with somebody, to call a scary person, because you know that this business isn't just about selling makeup and skincare and nutrition. It's about changing your life, and it's about changing people's lives around you, right? So release what you didn't do last year. Don't be mad at yourself, but really look at it in the face and say to yourself, what did I really do for my business, right? And so here's the thing, you guys. Pull out that calendar, write down those things, and here's what you really needed. How many people should you have launched in 2020? Well, the goal is 1 to 2 people a month. So ideally, you should have launched 12 to 24 people in your Arbonne business in 2020. That's the goal for a runner. That's the goal for somebody that wants to be an RVP, MVP. If you don't want to do that, you can set whatever number you want. Maybe your goal is to launch 1 new person a year. That's totally up to you. It's your business and you can do with it what you want. But if you want to be an RVP, MVP, your goal is to launch 1 to 2 new people every single month direct to you. That's 12 to 24. As you go back through last year, see how close you got to that number. The next thing is 6 to 8 group presentations a month, whether that be in person, on Facebook, on Zoom, it doesn't matter. That's 72 to 96 presentations in 1 year. That's how many you should have had in 2020. What about the 40 faces sheet? Some of you go for 30 faces. How many is that in a year? That's 360 to 480 brand new people to hear about Arbonne from you in 2020. Some of you might look back and realize that you only shared this product and this business with 25 people in the whole year. So you got to ask yourself, are you doing what it takes to get to where you want to go, or are your numbers just not there, right? The next thing is PCs. We talked about that. How many is the goal? The goal is 5 minimum, 5 to 10 new PCs a month direct to you, 5 minimum. So you should be signing up 60 to 120 new preferred clients every single year direct to you. That's the goal. Just so you guys have numbers to reference and some things that you're looking at, right? How many district managers did you promote last year? Well, I went back through my goal book. I have a binder of my yearly goals ever since I started my business 15 years ago. And I always keep track of how many people I launched, how many people went district, how many presentations I had, what my sales were. I'm a very big tracker. And, you know, I looked back to my very first year in Arbonne because I went region that year. It was very quick. And you can go to earnings.arbonne.com to see what's average, but that was my story, right? And so when I looked back, I saw that I launched, what was it? Because my computer just went dead. Let me type my password in real quick so I can get you guys those numbers. I believe it was 19 new people direct to me in that 9-month stretch of that year. That was my, hold on. That was my number, right? When I looked at what I did this year, I did not hold up my end of the bargain, and I only launched 8 people direct to me this year. So I had to look at myself and say, Kim Ford, did you do what you were supposed to do for your personal business this year? No, you didn't. You only launched 8 people direct to you. So what do I got to do? I got to get that number back up, right, to 12 to 24 new people. And so it's okay. We all fail all the time. We all don't meet the quotas all the time. I'm not mad about it and I'm not sad about it. I'm just looking at it. It's a number and I've got to change it, right? So those are some things that you guys can do to give yourself just a check mark so that you know where you're at and what you want to do. And honestly, your goal should be to promote a district manager every month, if not every other month. So a good goal would be to promote 6 district managers direct to you in a year. If you promoted one, congratulations. If you promoted none, that's okay. But the goal is to continue to build on that until you get so good at it that you're promoting 12 districts a year no matter what, and it's like clockwork, right? So just ask yourself what you're doing that works. And honestly, you guys, we do a lot of Arbonne stuff all the time. But really about 20% of what you're doing for your business is actually income producing activity that's working for you. So look at what that 20% is that actually works for you to help you build your business and build on that, and get rid of some of the stuff that you're doing that might be wasting time that's not really income producing, and that will help you to grow your business. So honestly, you guys, we just have to ask ourselves, is this something that you want? What do you want in 2021, right? And if it is something that you want, what are you willing to give up to get it? When I met Beth at that party 15 years ago, I knew I needed a business because I was exhausted. I was working 3 jobs as a registered nurse. I was always gone. I literally was never home. I was pregnant with my son. I was getting my bachelor's degree. I literally had 2 days off a month. And I told Beth, I'm going to build this on top of these 3 jobs. I'm going to do 3 events every other Saturday, which are the days I have off. And I'm going to make calls on my lunch breaks. And I'm going to give up TV because when I get home at 8 o'clock at night, I'm going to make phone calls. And that's what I did. I gave up TV for literally a year. And I could not believe how much I accomplished just by being intentional. So here's some tricks for you guys to help you stay on task. One thing that you can do, and please don't ask me for this paper or to email it to you because I don't have it, okay? I made this years ago and now I make photocopies because I lost the file. But this is, Cecilia Stoll is 12 nations wide, right? And so I told myself many years ago, if Cecilia's 12 nations wide, then my goal is to be 12 districts wide. And then once I'm 12 districts wide, my goal will be 12 areas wide. And then once I'm 12 areas wide, my goal will be 12 regions wide, right? So I just made this 12 little circles. This is me, this is my circles. And I wrote out how many districts wide I was. And this is current. I have 3 more to go until I hit 12. And once I hit that goal, the goal will be then areas wide, right? So ask yourself, how many districts wide do you want to be? Help yourself to see on a picture what it is that you want. Another thing that I do, just little tips for you guys, is I have 12 circles on this paper, and they're labeled January through December. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, all the way to December. Here's what I do to keep track. In January, I launched a gal named Lauren. I put her name in the circle. In February, I launched 2 gals. I put their name in the circle. March, put the people's names in the circle, right? I also put people's names in the circle. There's 14 people on here, but they weren't all direct to me, but I put them in the circle because I was working with them. And then I highlight the people that actually promote to district, right? And this helps me look back year after year after year at a glance. How many people I launched in a year and who actually promoted to district manager, right? So my first year in Arbonne, I launched 21 people in 9 months. See, I knew I had my number wrong. I launched 21 people in 9 months and 13 went district in my first 9 months of the business. This year, I launched 14, only 8 were direct to me, and 3 went district. So that's a problem for me that I need to help fix, right? So really quickly, I could compare this paper to my paper from last year and see, did I do better? Are there more names in those circles of people that I launched, or are there less? And then work on what it is that I need to work on. And every month when you're filling out those names, if you have a few months of nothing in those circles, it really makes you work because you see blank months in a row and you're like, holy moly, I haven't launched anybody in 2 months. I got to get on it, you know? So I love just drawing out 12 circles, labeling them with a month and putting down who I launch because that helps me focus on what's important. And what's important in this business is you mastering what you do, which is your $2,500 building block, and then teaching other people to do the same and duplicating that. So I always want to make sure that I'm intentional about duplicating because I always hit my building block personally. So if your caveat is the building block, then work on the building block. You know, whatever it is that you need to work on. And so those are just a few things that I do. Of course, some things to keep you accountable aside from tracking in your calendar is the daily doing your part focus sheet or the 40 faces sheet, whatever sheet you want to use from the websites that we all have access to. Just pick something, you guys. Pick something and do it consistently every month. Another thing that I would encourage you to do is chunk your time, because I feel like so many of us say we're super busy, but I could go to the hospital and work a 12-hour shift and still have 2 hours in my day to work my business, because I can do it on my lunch break or on my drive home, and I'm constantly on the phone in the car. I never have a car drive anywhere without me calling a client or a prospect or a team member. Never. I'm always on the phone when I'm driving. And you know, put your little earpiece in or connect to your car, however you need to do it. But that's really time that I use to work my business as well. So anyways, those are just some tips that I have for you guys. Really, you guys, it's about intention, it's about focus, and it's about skill. And all of those things add up to results. So you have to ask yourself, what is your intention? What do you want? Because if you don't know where you were or what you're going for, you're not going to do anything. If you're blind, if you don't know what you did last year, if you don't know how many people you talked to, if you don't know who you launched, if you're not tracking those things, then where do you start from? A blank slate every month, right? You have to build on your business and you have to grow from what you've already created. Focus. Are you focused with your business? If you're focused, you're going to be in action. You're going to be in activity. You're going to be taking the challenges. You're going to be on the calls. You're going to be inviting people to hear about the 30-day on January 4th. You guys, here's one small goal you can set for yourself right now. We as a collective group are going to have the biggest group of the entire year, January 4th, for our 30 Days to Healthy Living. Arbonne has a fantastic special on the 30 Days to Healthy Living with tons of free stuff right now. Why in the world do you not have a goal, which I'm sure some of you don't, for how many people you want on that 30 Days to Healthy Living starting January 4th? Do you even have a goal for that, right? You have to ask yourself, do you even have one? I know for me, my goal is 10 people direct to me on the program. What's your goal? What do you want, right? I have one more person to hit that number. So you have to set small, measurable goals for yourself, weekly, monthly, whatever it may be. And then in the end, it'll all add up. But tracking and looking back and reflecting on that time between Christmas and New Year's is golden. Like if you could set out several hours in your day to just sit back and reflect and look at where you came from and what you're doing next year, you will see the possibilities, you will see the vision, you will see what you have to work with because you've already started it. So don't sit in regret, don't sit in defeat, sit in what's possible. That's the best thing I can tell you guys. You know, my son is a water polo player, and I'll end it with this. I pay a lot of money for this pro water polo player to teach him how to play water polo. And we drive an hour every morning for him to get this coach. And, you know, he's working in the off season when nobody else is working in a very safe environment. You know, the best that we can do right now, because all practices have been cut off at this point. And I tell my son all the time, you know, you're working while no one else is working. And when you get back to the pool with your team, they're going to look at you and they're going to say, oh my gosh, what happened to you? And that's what I need you guys to do for your business. Are you working when no one else is watching? Are you working when everybody else is taking a rest and sitting around and, you know, hanging out at home because they have like other things that are on their mind? Or are you staying focused and intentional, right? So intention plus focus plus skill equals results, right? So what is the skill? What are you good at? Are you good at the 30-day? Are you good at makeup? Are you good at relating to people? Are you good at, you know, encouraging people? Are you good at follow-up? What are you good at? Take that skill and work it until you get good at all the skills, and then be this Arbonne ball of fire that just runs through the city and tells everybody about Arbonne all the time because you're so darn good at it. I feel like in my town, everybody knows who Kim Ford is, and I'm not trying to say that like cocky in any way, but everybody knows Kim Ford is the Arbonne girl. If they know me, they know I do Arbonne. If they hear my name, they will even say, oh, the Arbonne girl. I love that. I want everyone to know that I'm the Arbonne girl, right? So, you know, I even had a patient one time that I was taking care of, and her family loved me so much. They found out that I knew somebody that knew them. And they said, oh, so-and-so, do you know Kim Ford? And she's like, yeah, she's my Arbonne girl. And they go, no, the nurse. And she goes, oh, she's a nurse? Like, she didn't even know that I was a nurse. She only knew that I was an Arbonne girl. That's what you want. You want people to watch you wherever you are and know that you're in it to win it and you're not going anywhere. How many times, gut check for you, have your clients called you and said, hey, Heather, are you still doing that Arbonne thing? If your client has called you and asked you that, you're not showing up big enough for them to know that you're still in Arbonne. You want them to know you're in Arbonne, not even question that you're doing Arbonne, right? They shouldn't have to ask you if you're still doing it. They should know you're doing it, right? So anyways, one thing, what was I saying about the water polo? Okay, so anyways, so my son, I'm not focused, a little scattered. Okay, so my son goes to this water polo coach, and the coach sat down with them, and he's like, listen, all your friends are playing video games. All your friends are enjoying their Christmas break. All your friends are just hanging out because it's time to have fun, and you guys are putting in the work. And he said to all the boys that he coaches, there was 3 boys there. He said, you 3 are the 3 that keep showing up, and you have the discipline that it takes to go all the way. And he said, if you want to play for a Division I college, I will get you there if you can commit to me to doing the work. I don't care how talented you are right now. I don't care how amazing you are in the pool, whether you're a starter or not right now. I can get you to a D1 school if you're willing to do what it takes. And I thought, you know what? That's what I tell people in Arbonne. If you're willing to do what it takes, and you're willing to put in the hours, and you're willing to really dive in and learn and do, then you can grow, right? So what is your word for the year? If you've not read this book, The One Word, this is a book that you all should get, and you should pick your word. Because for years, I made New Year's resolutions. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to put $10,000 in the bank. I want to be happier, whatever those things, all those things. And I would always fall short of my number goal, right? This is so much better for me and so many people that I know because it's a word. So maybe your word for the year is what Emily just typed, growth. Maybe your word for the year is love. Maybe your word for the year is discipline. Maybe your word for the year is integrity. Like, I don't know what your word is. Some of you guys are writing it right now. So many different words. But you know what I love about that? The word can apply to every area of your life. Your Arbonne business, your family, your career, your kids, joy, such a good word. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and somebody on the podcast said that their word is joy. And you know what I love about that? Whether your business is on fire or not, you're still joyful for what you have, right? Whether you're healthy or not, you're still joyful for what you have. All the joy will then create more because you're happy with what you have and you're grateful. So anyways, I just wanted to leave you guys with this book, The One Word by John Gordon. If you haven't read it, you should order it on Amazon right now. It's a quick read. It literally takes like an hour to read, and it'll help you pick your word for the year. And I just hope that I was encouraging to all of you guys and gave you guys some tools that you might have needed to keep yourself on track and stay focused on what matters. And just start this year off with intention and goals. Put your stickies on the wall, do your goal slices, whatever it is that you need to do, figure out what your plan's going to be and then run with it. So that's pretty much it, you guys. Thank you so much.